let's start to talk about me. I am married. I know, some sad looks on the girls' faces. Don't worry, I cheat. I do, I love cheating. I've been married for 10 years, which is a good number to be married, I think. Hollywood celebrates the beginning of relationships far too much, in my opinion. I like where I'm at, 10 years in, where it's honest, The beginning of relationships isn't even real love. That's not real love. The first 2 years, your body's just excited about finding a DNA replication device, and your brain's flooded with vasodefrin and oxytocin. Real love starts about 3 or 4 years in when all those go away and you're just set there with the hard reality that you can't do better and you better make this work. That's where love comes in. I'm at 10 years in. I'm in the last 2 years of the relationship, and that's fantastic. There's a freedom in the last 2 years. I don't think about what I say. It's the only safe place on the planet. When I say things, as soon as the idea pops into my brain, boom, out my mouth. There's no hesitation because I don't care. That's how it works. We're honest with each other about everything, Like when you want a little romance, you just ask for it now. You want to go in the other room? She'll sometimes agree. Sometimes she'll give me excuses like, oh, I can't, I need a wax. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't need a wax. We've been together for 10 years. You don't have to subscribe to some social ideal for body, hair, beauty just because beauty salons needed a secondary revenue stream in the 80s to make women feel insecure and buy their products. You're beautiful because you're the woman I love, And she replies to that with oh, you're just saying that because you're fat. And I kind of know I'm fat. I'm not like fat. I'm not like, oh, he's going to die from it fat. But I'm like, oh, I'm on the verge of fat. Like, you got to put together yourself you're this fat, You're not unhealthy. Like, here's how I knew I was kind of fat. I was on a plane. I'm Canadian like the rest of you. I'm overly concerned how my actions affect other people, right? Yeah. So somebody's coming towards me in the aisle of a plane. What do? I want to help them get by, so I turned to make space. And I didn't make any space. I was the exact same size. It's like, what the? This used to help. This was helpful when I did this. Now I'm in an aisle plug. How did that happen exactly? I can't lose weight. And if you do lose a little bit of weight, it's not where you want it. Like I'll lose like a pound out of my eye sockets. That's not helpful. So I do little things to get in shape, Like, I started riding a bicycle. Bicycle? I don't know. So I'm riding a bicycle. Oh, here's our society, by the way, and this is your fault. I'm riding on a bicycle. I get heckled by a stranger. Just walking by, somebody heckles me. It's like, oh, hey, where'd you learn to ride a bike, buddy? I'm like, my grandfather's driveway. We both stopped, sad about our lost childhoods. But then when we continued, it's like, what a strange place. I got cut off a couple blocks later. Another guy cuts me off. He goes, hey, you're an awful bike rider. What the hell's going on? Why are you even riding a bike? I said, because I told my wife she didn't need a wax, and she said I was fat. And he's like, well, that's a stupid reason. I was like, I didn't know I was going to have to justify why I was riding a bike. I just came out. Why do you ride a bike? He goes, I'm doing it for the environment. I'm like, oh, that's a great reason. Why didn't I say that? And then I wanted him to like me. You ever have somebody mad at you and then you want them to like you back? It's such a weird feeling, isn't it? So this guy's mad at me, so I give him a compliment to win him back to my side. I'm like, hey, that's a nice bicycle. And immediately he started to smile. It's like, oh, hey, thanks a lot. It's a $6,000 Cannondale. $6,000 for a bicycle? He's like, yeah. He looked at me like I was an idiot, like that was a normal price for a bike. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why is it $6,000? He's like, well, it's a carbon fiber frame with titanium joints. And I go, why are the rims orange? He goes, good eye. That's beryllium aluminum compound with sewn in vulcanized rubber. And I'm like, holy crap. You must love the earth. Oh, do you know the damage that carbon fiber does to the lungs of the manufacturing process of the poison lizards because of the titanium in Peru? Or how about the loss of habitat of the orangutans in Indonesia because of the vulcanized rubber? Oh, or the kids in Africa doing the trace element mining that are losing their arms. Ooh. Yeah. You know what? If you cared about the earth, you know what you'd be riding? A horse. Yeah, perfectly environmental. Why don't we push horses? Because the manufacturing process doesn't make a profit off of it. Bikes are a profit because you manufacture them. Take 2 bikes, put them in a field, come back 10 years later, 2 rusted bikes. Put 2 horses out there, 100 horses. They make themselves. That's fantastic. Yeah. Of course, you can't brag about what your horse is made out of. Hey, what's your horse made out of? Hay, like all horses, all the same. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about subjectivity to end on right now that changed my life, and I'm hoping it's going to change yours. It's a very powerful thing. About 10 years ago, my manager called me out of the blue, excited, going, Pete, I just booked you a tour in Japan. I was like, that's amazing. I go, is it for English-speaking people? And she goes, I hope so. Now, when I showed up, the promoter did not sell enough tickets, and they started to panic about 3 weeks out from the final. And when they didn't sell enough tickets, the promoter rebranded the show as "Come Listen to a Guy Speak English in an accent that'll help you get a job back in North America." Yeah, so 1/3 of the audience was there for comedy, and 2/3 were repeating everything I said back to me. Now, I did these shows, and they were about the worst I've ever had in my life. My self-esteem plummeted, and after the last show, all I wanted to do was go home. I've never felt worse about myself. And the promoter comes backstage and goes, "Listen, there's some gentleman that would like to talk to you." And I go, I don't know if I could do it. He goes, "He's like 90 years old, he's in a wheelchair, just talk to him." And they wheel in a man named Tosomo Yamaguchi. Now, Tosomo's life is inspiring, and hopefully it inspires you too. I was told his story as they brought him to me, and they go, "This is Tosomo. When he was a young man, he used to deliver groceries for his family. And one morning back in 1945, while he was doing it, he was witness to the first atomic bomb to be dropped on man. And when that bomb went off, it vaporized his entire family, mom, dad, sisters, brothers, gone instantly, burned him head to toe, blinded him in one eye, left him in a destroyed city. Now, being the smart boy that he was, he remembered he had a distant cousin lived 2 towns over, and he started to walk, jumped on the backs of carts, got on trains, did whatever he could, stumbled towards hope. For 72 hours, this burned blind little boy went. And he got within 2 kilometers of his cousin's house. He was witness to the second nuclear bomb to be dropped on Nagasaki that put him in a coma for 6 months. Now, I met this man. He'd seen 2 nuclear bombs with his own eyes, and he still wanted to come backstage and tell me I was the worst thing he ever saw. Folks, you guys have been great. My name's Pete Johansson. Thanks a lot.